Hello, my name is Monica Galindo, and this week for Module 7 in Adult Learning in the Digital Age, we will be talking about digital learning as is. So, as we know, adult learning can be done in many forms. We've already looked at several, such as self direct learning, transformative learning, learning through experiences with the spirit, body, and then obviously through digital learning. So, currently, we are living in a digital age, meaning that digital learning is prone to be one of the go-to forms currently. And being in a digital age basically means that we, as humans, are free to exchange and have instant access to information. A lot of the times, obviously, this comes from the internet. Our phones have internet. It can also happen through social media, blogs, social networking. All of those platforms allow us to exchange all of this information. So, a little history on the evolution of digital learning. So when it does come to the evolution of digital learning, we recall that traditional learning used to be in person. So according to an article I read by Diane R. Dean and Arthur Levine, there used to be what was called analog, or not used to, there still is analog college, but basically it's a term used for courses being taught that have a fixed time and physical location. Many colleges still use this approach, this is where services are usually going to be provided through office hours, and the learning will be done by books and lectures, and usually abstract and reflective learners are the ones that benefit from these type of learning through the analog college. But obviously, we have evolved now. We have evolved to digital learning, which is anytime, anywhere kind of approach. So, what this means is that service will be provided 24/7 through our devices, through our our phones, our computers. We get all of that information, and usually it's active learners that this they use this for, and they can use it through games, applications, and collaboration to get this. So even before, during analog college, some schools have been offering digital learning since the internet was established, but it was mostly add-ons. So you would go in person, and then you would have the digital aspect as a secondary to it. But however, since the COVID pandemic hit, everyone, obviously including even our jobs, had to go 100% online. So this was not an intentional but big push for digital learning. But although digital learning can have its pros, there are also barriers to it, and these barriers can be in many aspects different. But for example, non-traditional students, a barrier to them would be the limited technology experience. So this usually means that the non-traditional students mostly are those that did not grow up in the technology phase, but they were immigrants to it, and they learned it afterwards. Those type of students are the ones that a lot of the times do have that limited experience. And so some solutions that have been proposed, for example, in our textbook, there was an example that the Knight Foundation actually had undertook a project to bridge that divide. This was done in Detroit, Michigan, and what they did was focus on high poverty neighborhoods to provide network, and digital literacy training for those adult learners that did not have it. So that was a solution that allowed them to aid and help those people to be able to get more experience by either going to the libraries or teaching them how to use the computers, as well as even having cheaper internet, because a lot of the times they were not literate, or they weren't able to use the technology because they didn't have the internet. So some other barrier would be finding credible sources in academic integrity. So this is actually a big thing, especially with millennials now, or the students that are in college. It's just so easy to find information that it makes it hard for them to find correct information, and this allows them to plagiarize. And so some solutions for these two are to show these students key skills to be able to develop effective search strategies, so they can learn how to critically evaluate information and find reputable information. So something that, for example, something that I have learned is, looking for sources with websites that end in .edu, .org, .gov. Usually these are credible sources, and so just learning to really use those search strategies will also help in finding those credible sources. So because of digital learning and all, there's a lot of people that do not have technology literacy, but there are components that allow people to be able to learn and be able to get there with the technology literacy. So really, what is technology? A lot of people might think, oh, computers, electronics, but it's more than that. It really is everything. You'll see it in airplanes, cars, medicine. It's just everywhere now. It's so much bigger than what it used to be. And so according to some sources online that I found, the components of technology literacy are knowledge, ways of thinking and acting, and capabilities. So for knowledge, this usually will involve the person that is knowledgeable about technology will involve systems. They'll be familiar with the nature and limitations of the technology. And this is a result of human activity and innovation. So they're just very knowledgeable about what technology does overall. Their ways of thinking and acting, this type of person will be usually problem solvers. They will understand the interrelationships of technology and other subjects, with society or relative, in this case, for example, adult learning. So they really appreciate the importance of the developments that technology has had. And lastly, the component of capability, it allows them to identify solutions. They know how to identify solutions. They use tech to improve their efficiency of day-to-day life, and they're creative when they use their approaches to problem solving. So having technology literacy does allow a person to be able to have a better understanding of everything in technology and be able to have that learn in the technology world. And yes, so that's currently what I had researched and had, and thank you so much for listening.